Boxing King Media in association with GBM Sports. IBF World Champ Sonny Edwards out here in Sheffield at the weigh-in for GBM Sports next big show, which is tomorrow, which I understand you're doing the commentary on as well.
I believe so. I got asked in the week, and then it just turned out that on Levi Kinsiona's return to the ring, that I was going to be at the show anyway. And I've been down to the inaugural GBM promotions, the first show where Junaid headlined it. So I think Izzy and the team are doing a great job out here. And if I can be any assistance and add to the event, then the conversation is always there. So I think so, but I don't know if it's been 100% confirmed. But I would like to. Do you know what I mean?
It'd be great to have you on the stream because it will be broadcasted on Boxing King Media. Quick mention on Levi Kinsiona. He's had loads of issues with his brain scan, etc. He's got it sorted. As a fighter, is that the right preparation? Do you think to jump straight into a fight with 6 days' notice?
Maybe ideally not, but when you look at Levi, he was in training, looking for the Lee Appleyard fight. He had a date. He'd seen his name on the poster, getting ready to get. And then with what happened with his medicals, and like I said, there's anything to stop him from actually fighting. Just with the board and the insurances and the health and safety aspect of protecting fighters, they wanted him to go through a few steps, and he did, and now he's got his license back. So I think because he maintained his training and his dieting pretty much throughout, even when he was in Dubai with me for my fight, he was out there training, even though he was going through all of this. So I think it'll be good to go. I think it's a bit heavier than what he would like to be operating at, but I think with so much inactivity and frustration, getting back out there and sort of getting the ball moving, ready to sort of set up for a big fight is probably the most ideal, situation for me personally.
Good stuff. I've got to talk to you about the weekend's fight. Your name's been thrown about on social media and interviews with Robert Garcia, Bam Bam Rodriguez. First of all, I've got to ask you about his performance. Did you expect him to stop his opponent, and what do you think of him as a fighter?
Firstly, I'd like to say I think he's a great fighter. I think he's fantastic for the division. I think the fights he's choosing to take, and when he's choosing to take them, is nothing less of credit worthy. I think he deserves all the appraisal and all the plaudits that he's getting. You can see if you run our lives in boxing alongside each other, they're probably quite similar. We both got big brothers, both had success. We both watched and learned every step of the way. We started young, we stayed consistent, we backed and betted on ourselves big, and we've got into a position. So if you ask me who I'd probably want to fight, it probably would be someone like Bam Rodriguez, because I do respect him and I rate him. Always said I want the biggest fights, always said I want the hardest fights. Martinez obviously is the more obvious goal that we've been aiming towards and pushing for so long. So we are in talks with that fight and looking to make that one happen. So who knows, that them talks might sidetrack off and start into Bam Rodriguez talks. So like I said, I'm just sort of waiting here as the small cog, the boxer. If I'm perfectly honest, when I'm seeing Robert Garcia mentioning me, I mean, he even replied to my tweet, #1 flyweight in the world, with a video of I think you made the video, of just showing a bit of what I'm about, to which he quote retweeted, not for much longer, or something along those lines, which means two things. One, that he believes currently I am the best flyweight in the world, and two, that he's charged, he thinks will be, and the only way that both of them things happen is by fighting me. He mentioned coming over to the UK, he mentioned fighting their world champion, so I'm an easy person to make a fight with. Eddie knows this, Frank Smith knows this. The conversations have been started, and I've been pushing for the Martinez fight. I believe winning the WBC and most likely the Ring magazine, as well as defending my IBF against a fight with the backstory, the build-up, the sort of history that's already there. And if to make these fights happen, if I've got to be willing to, I don't know, sign a piece of paper that says I've got to fight Martinez once or maybe twice if I beat him, and then straight into Bam Rodriguez, I'm more than up for it. They're the fights that I want. If you gave me my next 6, 9, 12 months and they're them level of fights, just watch what I do with that. That's what I need, that's what I would relish, that's what I would hope for. That would be the best case scenario when my manager gets off the phone to me saying he's touched base with their team and that they want to offer me Martinez straight into Bam Rodriguez. That would be my dream. You ask me my dream fight, my dream outcome, that would be it. Why? Because I'd be the recognised number one with the WBC, the IBF and the Ring magazine, and then the person who's just been a killer at the weight above and just done 2 of the 4 kings, as it were, at that weight, comes down, and a lot of people, because of them performances, are writing me off against him, and I love it. I relish that. Every single opponent, every single time there is that reaction to me and my career and that opponent and that opponent's performance, that's who I want. Every single time. Bam Rodriguez has looked as good as any fighter, technically, physicality, maturity, across the weights. He is putting in performances that veterans after a 30, 40 fight career at the top would be proud of, against fighters to be proud of.
How would you beat, because if I look at it stylistically, everyone expects you, your fans expecting you to box Martinez's head off. But with Bam Bam, he's a slick fighter like you, big puncher as well. So how would a fight like that play out with you and Bam Bam? Would it be good to watch?
I think so. I think when you have 2 technically astute, ring IQ'd fighters that know where they're putting themselves, know the adjustments they're making, know the traps they're setting, he's very good at them things. But at the same time, you could probably put him in against 50 fighters that are walking him down with their hands down, trying to just simply beat him by out-strengthening him. I've had 18 do it to me. Not one has managed to. And there probably won't be many that manage to with him as well. But you see, when you put 2 fighters like that against each other, it's a different ball game. It's not just the physicality. It's who's actually got the best movements, who's actually willing to gamble when they need to, who's willing to, and is reading the fight better. There's a lot more that goes to it. I'm 3 years his senior. I've had more world title fights than him by 1. We're in a very similar stage. Maybe if Moruti had a bit more of a DAZN platform, my win against him would be the Rodriguez effect. Because at the end of the day, I didn't beat a good loser to win my title. I didn't win it against a vacant title. I beat a 13-year unbeaten, long-standing champion that was heavily avoided, and this we know because of it was documented. So, maybe if Moruti weren't South Africa, maybe he was Mexican and fighting on Eddie Hearn's last few shows, then you would be speaking about me as the all, be-all and Lowell and the Bam Rodriguez of right now. But I don't need for that to be. If anything, I like the underdog style. I like being the one that you think I can't do it. I like people tagging me with clear conviction after watching Bam Rodriguez fight, telling me Sonny won't fight him, Sonny will avoid him, Sonny... Well, I'm literally making phone calls, sending messages, sending strategies of how to make these fights, because that's how serious I am. I've heard Robert Garcia mention my name, and I've heard Robert Garcia mention that he would like to challenge me. He said it in the interview. Go back and watch it. I would like to go there and challenge him. But Bam's not saying nothing. Bam hasn't said nothing. He's not even said Bam would like to. So maybe, they have a different route. They said they wanted the flyweight. I'd feel like I'm the biggest name in the division, especially when attached to another name. I think I have a unique sort of spot there waiting for that fight. And yeah, Martinez, Rodriguez, Nakatani. I could just name names that I'd be willing to fight. We are in a literal line of conversation that I am waiting for offers to come with me. My promoter, Probellum, my team, my lawyers are dealing with Eddie Hearn, Frank Smith, Matchroom lawyers. We're dealing. They're speaking. We're having conversations. Facts.
Sonny, thank you for your time. See you tomorrow night.
Yeah. Hopefully hear from me tomorrow night as well.
That's it. Sonny Edwards on the mic.
Yeah, no worries.